let us talk about this trap. What is the trap? The trap is that we are all pursuing happiness, or at least this is what we can say. We can discuss this.
Let's say all the things that we do it to feel better, to feel good.
Yeah, our goal is to feel better, to feel good.
The goal is maybe not happiness, but when I have a career, when I have a family, I'm expecting happiness to come as a result.
If we take like life and we go back at the basis, we are programmed. We are animals. We are programmed like animals to feel hunger. When we feel hunger, we look for food. When we get food, how do we feel? We feel happy. Then we are looking for mates, to have sex, to reproduce. So we feel also this kind of hunger. And when we find a mate, also, we feel happy. So we can say that a cow or a dog, or I don't know which kind of mammals of this kind, it's just the same. We in our society now, because we are so developed in terms of like material stuff, I mean, we have food very easily. Huh? You don't really need to spend that much time now to find food. You open the fridge and the food comes to you. So yeah, of course, every time we eat, we are happy. But because this doesn't bring us a lot of happiness, or not enough, let's say. I don't know anybody now who is able to live just with the mere fact of eating and feeling satisfied. We need so many other things. So do we really need those things, or did they come to us, or some kind of trick they convinced us that we need them? I don't know. We can discuss it. But one thing is sure, is that we are trapped into pursuing happiness from all those gadgets and things that we can buy, they can sell us. And because of this, we are never satisfied. It's very hard now to be satisfied. Like if, for example, I put myself in the place of a farmer living 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, where, there was a good harvest and the weather was good and they had rain and, the family is healthy and they have enough food for the next months, I imagine that this farmer could be much more satisfied and happy than someone who's living in London or Berlin today and who's working hard and who bought a new car and who's looking forward to something else. Like most of the time, we are living into the thought of something further.
So he's happy because he cannot afford something, or because he doesn't desire so many. Yeah, the farmers, or he's happy because he doesn't desire so many things, or he doesn't have advertisement.
Because there is nothing he can desire that is like immediate in front of him. I mean, of course, since the beginning of times, a human being maybe desired other things like remaining young or being immortal or having the satisfaction of the gods or going to heaven. Yeah, but how can he desire to buy an iPhone if there's no iPhone? While now, the amount of things that there are, I mean, who is even able to have everything? When can you be content? When can you be satisfied? This is the question.
Yeah, and when you go back to the example of the farmer, he is probably comparing himself to his neighbors and to the other people in the village. But what can they have? Like, I mean, they have all the very simple life, not 1,000 gadgets. Nowadays, there are too many things too.
Most of them, they look very more or less like similar. Of course, there are people who are richer than others, and of course, yeah, you can desire to be like the king or like as rich as the king. You can have this desire, of course.
I mean, nowadays the people, all of them, they also look very similar. You know, when you look at the streets in Berlin, for example, and many people, everybody has a smartphone, everybody has a nice watch, everybody has whatever clothes, blah blah blah. You know, but there are so many things, and they are also changing all the times. The companies always produce new things. You know, it's faster.
Yes, it's faster. Everything is changing very fast, and there are all the time new things happening. But also, you don't necessarily compare yourself to the people you see in the street now anymore. You don't compare yourself with your neighbor necessarily. You compare yourself even with someone you see on the screen. You compare yourself with someone you don't even know and you have never seen in your real life. And this person on the screen, it's always there to remind you that they are there. You can compare yourself to a businessman, you can compare to yourself to a singer, to an artist, to a politician, to fashion model, etc. So you don't need to compare yourself to your neighbor. And still, you can compare yourself to your neighbor, and you will always find some neighbor who has more things than you. But it doesn't only depend on things. It's not just about mere objects. You can just be unsatisfied, and you are waiting for your next vacation. This is the most common thing. I mean, most of the people today, they work for their vacation. Oh, in 1 month I will be in vacation. That's why I'm working now. And when I will be in vacation, I will be happy. And the people, they have vacation, all of a sudden they feel this happiness. And of course, when the vacation is over, they go back to the normal level of satisfaction or happiness.
Hmm. So what to do? Maybe I don't know. Should we give up our search for happiness?
Yes, it's not about what to do, because I'm not here to say exactly what to do, because I don't know what to do and what not to do. I'm trying to explain, because sometimes we simplify things, especially that there is a kind of maybe propaganda or general culture. Let's call it a general culture, that's trying to convince us that happiness is related to what you can consume and what you can experience, like with the exterior world. There is this general culture. Oh, okay, to be happy, first you need money. This is like, this is like a dogma. No? It's like a religion. If you say no, this is not true, they will say, oh, he's not a believer. He's a, how do you say, he's an unbeliever. This, like, we should jail him. Yeah. So yeah. This, what does he say? I mean, so yeah. So happiness is related to money, but money, I mean, it's what you can do, what you can experience with money. You can do a lot of experience. You can travel. You can buy new things. You can have new experiences. You can go and see new landscapes, or you can eat very nice food, or you can try new clothes, and like it's the possibilities are infinite. But the question is well, what we have to investigate into, if there's something that we could do, is to ask ourselves questions, not just to go with the flow. So the question is happiness related to the external world, or is it something that is internal? Does it come from the inside, or does it come from the outside? And this is not easy. This question is not easy, because if we dig deeper into this question, and let us dig a bit deeper into it, you will see where we arrive.
Let's go.
Let's go. Maybe we arrive nowhere, and that's the difficulty. The basic idea we have, and maybe, I mean, the basic truth, let's say, I mean, you give food to a dog, and you see, I mean, the dog is happy. So you say the cause of the happiness of the dog is the food. So the cause of the happiness of the dog is something that is outside of the dog. That is the food. So is it really like this? Or is it because the dog ate the food? And when the dog ate the food, there's something that happened in his brain chemically speaking. And this thing is at the source of the happiness. So what's the cause of happiness here? Is it really the food, or is it this chemical
reaction or whatever? Yeah, I mean, in this sense, I would say that the exterior thing is maybe more the trigger, but the happiness, the production of happiness, or the first glimpse of happiness comes from the brain of the dog, no?
So it could be that the food triggered, caused this chemical reaction, and this chemical reaction is what we call happiness. Okay, let's take a look at this. Now, food is easy. And I mean, you can see it with food and with many other things. If you give to the dog too much food, like it happened with one dog, then he vomited. Then he was not happy anymore. Yeah. So he had like a level of happiness here. He had food, the happiness came here. And then instead of going back to the same level, he went lower. This happens with food, with alcohol, with drugs, with everything in our life. Okay. You can go today, say, oh, today I want to experience a lot of happiness. Okay, I want to spend all my money. Then you spend all your money. Then you say, I can be maybe happier. I will sell my computer. I will sell my phone. I will sell my clothes. And I will spend all this money also. Then I'm even happier. Then you say, then what can I do? Oh, I will sell my body. And then you see, so there's no limit. But this means that at the end, you can go very happy, come back, you go lower. So
it equalizes at the end, maybe. The very high happiness and then the very deep, dark tragedy or sadness.
So this is like the happiness suffering.
So you're always at the end at the same level, maybe, on average.
On average. So what do you want? What do you prefer? Everybody is different, huh? Do you want to be content and happy, but like not too happy? Like the people who take drugs, not drugs like cocaine. I'm talking about drugs that the psychiatrists give, like know the name of the pills, but like to heal depression or something. So instead of being depressed and sometimes happy or bipolar, okay, we tell you, listen, take this pill, and you will feel okay. You're not too happy, but you're not too sad, and you're okay. In all your life, you're okay. Would you like to live like this? Or would you like to become happy like this and stay there and be happy all the time? How you do this?
Doesn't it at the end not become another normal?
And at the end, okay, when you are all the time here, does this level here become actually like this one and you don't really like? Okay. Or do you prefer to have happiness, suffering, happiness, suffering, etc.? Like, I drink 20 beers. Okay, tomorrow I will suffer because I will have a headache. But yeah, I mean, okay, it will last what, maybe 4 hours of a headache, but at least, today I can enjoy that. So, how do you want to manage this? How do you want to? Because the people say, oh, how they're looking for happiness. What does it mean, happiness? If we take it in the.
What kind of happiness and how do you want it and how long? Okay.
Is there happiness if there's no suffering?